Welcome to the video lecture on course Radiation and Microwave Techniques. In the previous lecture, we have started with unit number 4, that is passive microwave components. And in the previous lecture number 1, we have gone through E-plane T junction, and in today's lecture number 2 of unit 4, we are going through the H-plane T junction. Let's see what are the contents that we are going to cover in this lecture. Learning outcome, H-plane T junction, its construction and working principle, and the derivation of S matrix of the H-plane T junction. Starting with the learning outcome, after completion of this lecture, students will be able to understand the waveguide junction, that is H-plane T junction in this lecture, and they will be able to derive the scattering matrix of H-plane T junction. So starting with the today's lecture of H-plane T, we will first go through the construction. So H-plane T junction is formed by cutting a rectangular slot along the width of long rectangular waveguide and a side arm is attached. The arms of the rectangular waveguide make two ports called linear ports, that is port 1 and port 2, you can see in the figure, while the new one is the port 3, which is called as H arm, or it is also called as side arm or the auxiliary arm. This is called as H-plane T because the plane of the auxiliary arm is parallel to the plane of the magnetic field of the dominant TE10 mode in the main waveguide. So this is how is the construction of H-plane T. Now we will see the working principle of H-plane T. The H-plane T can be represented with this such a structure. This is port 1, port 2 and port 3. So consider a TE10 mode is incident at port 3. The electric field lines will be perpendicular to the broadside of the waveguide. Electric field of this mode, it will travel downwards the junction. While passing through junction, electric field does not suffer any bending, and thus the input wave gets splitted into two halves, as you can see. So what we can say is, if we are providing input at port 3, we get output at port 1 and port 2, which is having same magnitude and the same phase. So we can write it as S13 is equal to S23. If the field of same polarities, if they are fed into port 1 and port 2, the field that is coming out of the arm 3 is the addition of both. And if the field of opposite polarities, if they are fed from port 1 and port 2, the field that emerge out from the port 3, they cancel out each other as they are out of phase, and the output at port 3 is 0. Now we will do the derivation of scattering matrix of H-plane T. You know the H-plane T, it is a 3-port network, so n by n matrix will be there for scattering matrix, which is 3 by 3 matrix, and it is given with this S equal to this matrix. When the waves are fed into the side arm, that is port 3, the wave appearing at the port 1 and port 2 of the collinear arm, they will be in phase and they will be of the same magnitude. So we can write S13 is equal to S23. In H-plane T, this port 3 is perfectly matched port, so we can write S33 equal to 0. And from the symmetry property, we know Sij is equal to Sji, so we can write S12 is equal to S21, S13 equal to S31, S23 equal to S32. Now the S matrix will become, by putting all this values, we get the S matrix, which is like this. Now using unitary property, that is the scattering matrix into the scattering matrix conjugate equal to unitary matrix, we get this equation. In that, if we calculate R1 C1 and equate it to 1, we get mod of S11 square plus mod of S12 square plus mod of S13 square equal to 1. For row 2 and column 2, we get mod of S12 square plus mod of S22 square plus mod of S13 square equal to 1. Similarly, for R3 and column 3, we get mod of S13 square plus mod of S13 square equal to 1. From here we can say it is twice of mod of S13 square equal to 1. So if we calculate S13, it will be 1 by root 2. Now we have achieved one unknown, that is S13, and now we require S11, S12 and S22. So for that, from equation 1 and 2, we can write S11 equal to S22. And if we do row 3 and column 1 multiplication, and if we equate it to 0, we get S13 into S11 conjugate plus S13 into S12 conjugate equal to 0. Making S13 common, we get S13 into S11 conjugate plus S12 conjugate equal to 0. From here we can write it as S11 equal to minus of S12. Putting this equation 4 in equation 1 and the value of S13 as 1 by root 2, we get mod of S11 square plus mod of S11 square plus mod of 1 by root 2 square equal to 1, which is equal to twice of this mod of S11 square plus 1 by 2 equal to 1, which from here we get S11 equal to 1 by 2. As we know, S11 equal to S22, so the value of S22 will also be equal to 1 by 2, and we know S11 is equal to minus of S12, so S12 will be minus of 1 by 2. So now we have all the unknowns. So our S matrix of H plenty becomes, after putting all the values of S11, S12, S22 over here in this equation, we get the S matrix of H plenty, which is this. So in this lecture we have seen the construction of the H plenty, and we have seen the properties of H plenty, and then we moved on to the calculation or the derivation of H plenty's S matrix. Hope you have understood this. Thank you.